Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Bible study. Today we are going to study about Jonathan and David, their friendship. All right, let's get in. So we are in 1 Samuel 18, verses 1 to 18. I chose this time English Standard Version. David and Jonathan's friendship. All right. As soon as he finished speaking to Saul, the soul of Jonathan was knit to the soul of David, and Jonathan loved him as his own soul. So this is about David. As soon as he finished speaking to Saul, and Jonathan, Saul was knit. Knit, when you knit, is like tied together. Like inter, like knitting. I was going to bring probably a knitting my scarf, but together. It's how tight it was. And Jonathan loved him as his own soul, which is rare. It's hard to find a soul to knit to. Why? Because we have differences, we are different, we have different character, and probably Jonathan as being a prince because Saul was the king of Israel that time. He met people in that entourage coming to the palace, and he never seen a, just a humble man like David. David was a shepherd, and coming to the palace, Jonathan was, I don't know, he saw something in him that he could not see in other people. And he liked, I think, his character, his soul, his personality. David was outstanding. And he liked him so much, they knit their souls together. I'm not sure if this will probably call, you know, that you get yourself into like so much into the soul, like soul ties. Could be, but this was not in the bad thing. Why? Because David needs somebody from the palace who was on his side, and God made that happen. As soon as he stepped in the palace, Jonathan was the, I would say, prince to the throne for the king. He liked David very much. All right. Verse 2. And Saul took him that day and would not let him return to his father's house. When Saul saw David, they let him stay in the palace, and he did not return back home from that day. Everybody liked David. All right. Next, verse 3. Then Jonathan made a covenant with David because he loved him as his own soul. Have you ever loved somebody like your own soul? Maybe yes, maybe not. Maybe you didn't meet that person yet. But some people, they tie that kind of friendship within the souls, and that helps them along the way on both sides, even for David in this case and for Jonathan later on. So so what Jonathan did, he found David so unique, so different, I would say, so nice. And what Jonathan did, he stripped himself of the robe that was on him and gave it to David. What kind of robe Jonathan had? He had from the palace because he was a prince with the golden. That's why I chose this picture, like golden robes with white. He was, he belonged to the palace. So he gave his robe like a from a prince robe to David, who was a shepherd. And not just that, like he put the kingship that's supposed to be on Jonathan, put it on David. Wow. And also, he put his armor and even his sword and his bow and his belt. Like, they have Bonero, they had those in that time. His armor, like protecting David, and sword, which it's a royal one, and royal armor, and Bonero, and belt. And so everything was royal, which that reminds me when Saul, the king Saul, put when David was a little much younger, that time when he killed Goliath, Saul put his armor on him to protect his little body that would not be punctured or hurt by the Goliath. But he could not work with it. It was too big for him, and it was not for his age, and he could not get into it. But this time, Jonathan's robe and all what he had to fight, armor and sword, that was for the war with the enemy. That fit David perfectly, because now was the time when he had to take over. Now, verse 5. And David went out and was successful wherever Saul sent him, so that Saul set him over the men of war. So he started leading as he started fighting in the just like anybody else, but since he won and he was one of the best, he got to be promoted to be on the top of the men of war. Wow, that was already, he just entered that palace, that kingdom, and everything rolled beyond him. We want that kind of, treatment when you step in the palace, that everybody will, dress you up as a royal, give you all these, it's amazing. And not just that, give you a job in there. All right, let's keep going now. We are still in verse 5. And this was good in the sight of all the people, and also in the sight of Saul's servants. So everybody start loving David for who he was. I say, to have so much favor with people. First, he had favor with God, and then God gave him favor with people. And people, like just say in the royal family, start loving him so much that they give their even the robes and all that, which is, to have a sword is royal, has a specific for the royal, either a stone, specific stone, or some kind of engraving, to have that, to give it away, it's a big deal, just to give it like that. So David found favor with Jonathan, and they're so tied together. Now, sooner or later, it was Saul, I would say, was not quite in the right place and had jealousy on David. Verse 6. As they were coming home, when David returned from striking down the Philistine, the women came out of the cities of Israel singing and dancing to meet King Saul, with tambourines, with songs of joy, with musical instruments. and the women sang to one another as they celebrated. Saul has struck down his thousands, and David his 10,000s. And I'm not sure where this came from, what they will do that. They were just, I would say, joyful that, imagine to have the enemy coming to your, in Israel and attacking, you're not safe. But David went and won every war, every battle. He won everything. And coming, like back home, the ladies, like, women start dancing on the streets and the city, like, and came out of all the cities of Israel and start singing and dancing that we shouldn't put that, Saul struck down thousands and David 10,000s. I will not do that, but because that's still jealousy. And now Saul found himself that why they're saying I'm not good enough for them. Now I'm the king of Israel. Now David is rising above his head just for the women saying that. So he knew that what the population of Israel would think about him, that he was not good enough in the war because sometimes Saul lost. But David, he won every single one, every single battle. He went to war with Philistine and won. Wow. Saul was very angry, and this saying displeased him because he heard those women. We should not listen to what people say. We should listen what God says about us, shouldn't we? If God said that you are good, you are very good, you are the best, you are, you are high above everybody else, listen to what God say. Please God, not people. And Saul was a kind of pleasing people than pleasing God. And when he heard what the women saying, he was not happy. He was very angry. He said, they have ascribed to David 10,000, and to me, they have ascribed thousands. And what more can he have but the kingdom? And Saul eyed David from that day on. He did not like that. It was not David's fault that Saul got jealousy on him. It's a spirit of jealousy, and you gotta get rid of it. Why? That spirit of jealousy destroyed Saul. First he had pride, that was pride, and now jealousy. And that pulled him down. Instead of being and raised up, he was actually, I would say, spiritually declined and keep declining, as now he made inside his soul are wounds. He was wounded from those ladies where they were singing. He was kind of wounded inside his soul. Now, when people are wounded inside their soul, they make bad decisions. The good thing for David at this point was he had Jonathan in the same palace that loved him as his own. That's why it's good when God loves you, He'll make even from the family of your enemies bring somebody who will love you, who will help you in everything. And Jonathan did so. Jonathan did help David in time of trouble with Saul. Because what happened here? Verse 10. The next day, a harmful spirit from God rushed upon Saul. Usually those spirits will not come from God, but this one, God allowed that to come um, upon Saul, and he raved within his house while David was playing the lyre, and he did day by day. Saul had his spear in his hand, and Saul hurled the spear, for he thought, I will pin David to the wall. But David evaded him twice. Now, as David's trying to escape from Saul so many times, guess who helped him? Jonathan. Jonathan helped him very much. And not just that, a lot. He would tell where his father was, what he was doing, and hit him, and he helped him. He gave signals and all that, what to do, how to escape. So Jonathan became one of his not just best friend, like very tied to David, and help him on the way to escape the rages of Saul, his father. So, and not just that, we read later on, Saul's daughter fell in love with David, and David end up marrying Michal, um, Saul's daughter. So, what is to take from this friendship? Sometimes we don't know why we need that friendship and why we have friends. Friends, we gotta choose them. Family, we born in that family. We can't choose our family. Jonathan could not choose his father. He born in that family. Maybe Saul was not like that all the time. Failing from searching and seeking God's face daily, he fell. He is on the throne. There is a lot to take in consideration when you're a king at the throne. Like so many problems you have to solve in the interest of the country and on the interest of people. He did not spend time with God, and he fell one step lower and lower without even noticing. And that anger, it built it up. So it's good whenever we go to make friends and to make good friends. Sometimes we don't know where our friends are and what they do. And sometimes you may have to step in and help your friend, and sometimes your friend needs to step in and help you. That's a friendship. So if you do tied in a very strong friendships, keep them. Sometimes God sends you friendships, friends for a season, as it was with David till Jonathan died. And what happened after Jonathan died? What David did, he got all like his children, which was one who was I think he couldn't walk. He got his son, Jonathan's son, and put him on his table, and he ate. Jonathan's son ate at David's table till he died. So it's returning the favor, you know. It's yes, he helped him save David's life. Well, Saul was alive and was hunting him down, but David, he did not forget that when he became a king and he was searching who to help, who to bless, he looked into Saul's family who was left and was Jonathan's son, and he blessed that boy. So, friendship is good. It has to be in the right way. People probably like how many friends Saul had, maybe none. We don't have people tend not to have friends with somebody with some anger issues like Saul had. We tied these friendships with somebody nice that will help us in return. So I hope you enjoy this Bible study as much as I enjoy it. Till next time, I say goodbye. Goodbye now.